sure that it's working. That sounds good. All right, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Drew Collins. I'm the director of music here, and I just want to introduce what our musical theme is today. Each year, at the end of the program year, I invite the choir to vote on which of our anthems over the course of the last year were their favorites. So we call this our Singer's Choice service, and so we're going to have some singers get up and explain why they chose the anthems that they chose.
Everyone born, we will be singing today. Every one of us deserves to be safe, to be fed, to be heard. This song is about our UU first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. In this song, God, however interpreted, is inferred as a supreme observer, a good listener, and delights in humans' good works. The humans do work. The real work of organizing, of showing up, of devising the plans, deciding who, what, and where, and working systems to figuring out how to find a place at the table for everyone. Everyone born will be sheltered, be fed, and be heard.
For everyone born, a place at the table.
Good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Madison. My name is Brian. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a member of this congregation, volunteering today as a worship associate. Today, I'm joined by the Reverend Kelly Crocker and by the worship team of Linda Warren, Drew Collins, Stephen Gregorius, and Daniel Carnes. A special thank you to our society choir for being with us this morning. And thank you to all those volunteering in many roles today: greeters, ushers, hospitality providers, lay ministers, and sound technicians. At First Unitarian Society, we question boldly, listen humbly, grow spiritually, act courageously, and love unapologetically. If you are visiting us today, welcome. We're very glad that you are with us. If you would like more information about First Unitarian Society, please stop by the welcome table located in the Commons. If you leave those doors, it's over to the left. We hope that you will be able to stay and join us for coffee hour immediately after the service, which is also in the Commons. For those connecting with us virtually today, we're glad that you are with us as well. And we hope that you'll be able to take a moment to watch the announcement slides after today's service to learn about upcoming programs and activities. As this is the first Sunday of the month, members of our Board of Trustees will be in the Commons to talk with you about their role in the governance of our congregation. So please seek them out with your thoughts or questions after the service. Our flowers today are from the family of Trevor Franklin, whose memorial service was here yesterday. And now I invite you to join me in a moment of silence to center ourselves and bring ourselves fully into this time as we join once again in community. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold or death into life.
We laugh, but are we not also in the business of alchemy, turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort,
Combines love with justice, creates hope out of
beauty in the ordinary and life in the present? Come, let us be transformed together. And we invite you now to rise in all the ways we do, joining together in our words of affirmation as we light our chalice. We light this chalice, a spark in the darkness, kindling the embers of imagination within us. May its flame ignite wonder, fuel dreams of justice, and illuminate the path toward what could be. And before we join our voices in song, we invite you to turn and greet those around you.
Let's join together in singing our opening hymn, number 1058 in the teal hymnal, or on the screen, Be Ours a Religion. We'll sing it through twice.
Space, each shine the good heart. Good morning. Come, crew. So I am Leslie Ross, the Director of Religious Exploration, and we are here this morning to acknowledge the amazing work of our teachers.
I'm Mika Chen, and I attended CRE classes all throughout my childhood.
And I'm Mike Lenow. My two children are enrolled in CRE classes.
We're here today to honor the amazing volunteer teachers who make our classes run each year.
Let's talk briefly about the scope of our children's RE program. This year, we have just over 200 kids enrolled in children's RE and are offering 15 sections of classes. It is our 65 volunteer teachers who make this possible.
And while quantity matters, it's the quality that really speaks to the success of our children's RE program. Throughout our 8-month program year, relationships are forged, questioning minds are engaged, UU values are nurtured, commitments to justice and service to others are encouraged and enacted, and so much more, all made possible through the commitment and creativity of our teachers.
As a parent, I want to thank our teachers for being part of the village that cares for and nurtures my kids. Parenting is tough work. We're pulled in many directions, trying to do our best as employees, partners, parents, friends, members of extended family, and more. It can feel tiresome and sometimes lonely, knowing that my children have a place each week where their hearts and minds are cared for in a community that I trust, value, and respect has really been invaluable. I am so grateful for the conversations that have been sparked by our children's participation in CRE, and for the ways that our family relationships have been strengthened because of it.
As someone who participated in our children's RE classes, I want to thank our teachers for making time for us to play and learn, laugh and wonder, and explore so much of the life and ideas around us. Our classes have encouraged me to think about the world and my place in it in ways that help me to be and become a good citizen of the world. This poster lists all of this year's teachers, Saturday and Sunday. It will be on display in the Commons after service. We hope you'll take a look at it and see the names of everyone who is teaching this year and offer them your gratitude for their service to our community.
Not all of this year's teachers could be with us today, but we want to give everyone a robust thank you for all that they have done. So this year's teachers, can you please all stand? Participation element to this. So at the count of 3, we're all going to shout out, "Thank you, teachers." That was supposed to come before the applause, but I love spontaneity. So 1, 2, 3. Thank you, teachers. We love you. Some of our teachers teach for many years. Some teach for many, 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 many years. 5 years, we do a special.
The teachers who have hit one of those milestones this year, and a couple that we've somehow missed, we ask that they come up to the podium to receive a small gift of our appreciation of their multiple years of service. Please hold your applause until after each one of them has been called up.
Abigail Musselman, are you here? Yes, come on up. 5 years, woohoo! Olivia Moat, are you here? There she is. So she's one that we missed a couple years ago, but this is her 7th year of teaching. Sandy Eskridge, are you here? There you are. 10 years of teaching. Rini Uhardi, 20 years of teaching. And if that didn't wow you, Vicki Jones, 35 years of teaching. Woo. And then Vicki Iden, who cannot be here this morning because she's off doing her teaching thing at St. Denis Catholic Church with the Building Bridges class, but we are celebrating her 7 years of teaching today as well. So we are so grateful for the repeated commitment to our kids and the ways that our teachers embody and live out our FUS faith, our UU faith. You are awesome role models for our CRE kids and for our FUS community. Thank you.
At this time of recognition, it is only appropriate to pause for a moment and thank Leslie herself. Not yet. How much coffee have you all had this morning? Wait, yeah, Alyssa, a lot. The answer is a lot. So Leslie's been with us for almost 25 years, and as you may know, Leslie will be ending her time with us at the end of this month. So we wanted to pause for a moment to share some voices of gratitude, as well as some images of her time with us.
Here we are, Kelly and I, coming from the Atrium Commons so that we could get some of the banners from our children's religious exploration classes in the background. We thought it would be a fitting setting for us to say thank you to you, Leslie, for so many years of service, so much hard work, so much deep intentionality and care you have shown in leading our program over this quarter century. It's an incredible gift of service and gift to the congregation, and we are deeply grateful to you for it.
Leslie, on behalf of myself and my kiddos, Patrick and Carolyn, thank you for all that you've done for our family. My kids came up through CRE. I feel like I came up through CRE as well, learning right alongside of them. I'm so grateful for this community that you have forged, that you have supported, that you have grown over your many years at FUS. You have given so much to so many, and I'm selfishly grateful on behalf of me and my kids for all that you've done for us. Congrats on your retirement. Enjoy.
I just wanted to thank you for encouraging me to get involved in the RE program, for supporting me while I was teaching, and especially for being one of the co-facilitators when we did COA during COVID. And also, thanks for the occasional nudge when I needed it.
Hi, Leslie!
Thank you for everything you've done for our childcare team. We appreciate you so much. Wish you best of luck with everything else that goes on in your life. Thank you so much.
Yeah. We love you.
We love you. Thank you.
Thank you for all your help with everything.
We'll miss you.
On behalf of our family and so many others, we would like to thank you for all of your years of service to the First Unitarian Society and for raising with us such wonderful young human beings through the Religious Exploration Program.
Thank you, Leslie.
And happy retirement.
Happy retirement. Thank you so much for all the love and care you put into the Children's Religious Education Program. As kids who've gone through the program, we appreciate all your love and care for the past 25 years.
Yeah, it truly helped make us better people, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So thank you for all that you did for us. My name is Nikki Keck, and I've worked with Leslie on her ministry team for many years. I want to give you, Leslie, my gratitude for all that you have done here at FUS. My son started in religious education as a wiggly kindergartner and is now in coming of age, where he has the knowledge and love to reflect on everything he has learned throughout all of his classes. I also want to wish you the very best in the new adventures that await you. You have spent many years taking such good care of others, and now it is time for you to take care of yourself.
Leslie, it's hard to know where to begin with your many accomplishments here. You've built and sustained an incredibly life-giving and life-changing religious exploration program. When you think of the years, thousands of children and youth have gone through this program in your time, and your compassion, passion, wisdom, and love have made a difference in their lives. And because of that, because they move through this world differently now, you have most definitely made an impact on our larger community and our world. You also created Art at the Right Place 20 years ago, and you not only raised funds for our programs, you also created community. You brought beauty and joy into this place while supporting local artists and introduced us to many talented folks. I remember the first time we met 24 years ago. You said you worked best as part of a team, and it's been a joy to be your teammate for so many years. You've had so much life in these busy years. We had Habitat for Humanity trips where we slept on church floors and learned how to install siding and bring teams of teenagers together into a little family over the course of a week. You held teen performing arts nights where our youth could showcase their talents. There have been gingerbread house parties and Easter egg hunts and story times, times of immense joy and times of heartbreaking loss. And we were together through it all. We've said goodbye to beloved staff, and we've welcomed new staff in. And now it is time to say goodbye to you. Knowing this day would come at some point doesn't make it any easier. I will be forever grateful for the gift of sharing your life, seeing one another almost every day, and working together to build this community we both so dearly love. Thank you for the laughter, for the support, for being there through it all, for being you, for your honesty and integrity, for your passion and perseverance. You will be so deeply missed, and your love will be felt here for all the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
Now let's send our students off to their RE classes. You to rise if you aren't already, in body and or in spirit, so we can sing our hymn number 300 in our gray hymnal with heart and mind. With heart and mind and voice
Today's words of inspiration are by Tess Baumberger. Last week, my sweetheart brought me a seashell from North Carolina, gray marbled and inward curving, smoothing into itself. Last night, I showed it to my son, who took the love shell in his 6-year-old hands and held it to his cochlear ear as if by instinct. He must have seen someone somewhere do this. I asked if he could hear the ocean. He looked surprised at the question and said, yes. Then he said he could hear the creature that lived inside it wondering. He grew silent, intent on the sound, eyes focused on that space where childhood imagination swirls dreams into being, like the mysterious intubing of that shell, motion of waves breaking. After a moment, I asked what the creature was wondering. He said, it's wondering what it will do for the rest of its life. His eyes still focused on that spot. I wonder what he will do for the rest of his life. This child who says such lyrical and surprising things, things that sound like poetry to me, waking me to wonder. What shells will he build to protect his soft creature self from predators and abrading emotions of life? How large an opening will he leave for love? What will be the sound of his own wondering?
One of the things that has been bringing me joy these days is receiving a daily poem in my inbox every morning from the poet and word woman Rosemary Watola Trummer. If this sounds like something that would help you get through the days, I highly recommend it. The other day, the morning poem was called, Then What Might I Do? She writes, there is nothing more hopeful than hearing the whir of the first black-chinned hummingbird returning to the feeder, knowing he has flown 500 miles to arrive at my porch within hours of the same time the black-chins arrived last year and the year before and the year before. What inner directive is still intact despite the chaos that breeds all around? I want to show up that faithfully, want to listen to the wisdom within that says, this is the way, now go, 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 and trust I have the strength to do so, though the way is long, though the world is vast, though the trip must be made alone. If this tiny bird can fly through cold fronts, headwinds, hard and heavy rain, if it can wing across vast open waters, if it can arrive and make a new nest, then what might I do? An hour later, with this poem still lingering in my mind, I dropped Owen off at school and noticed that 2 sections of the playground that are usually filled with plants were roped off. I asked him if this was because of new plantings, and he casually answered, nah, it's because of the duck. The duck? I said. What do you mean, the duck? And he rolled his eyes in true middle school fashion and said, the one nesting on the playground. And then promptly showed me the mama duck that you can kind of see on your screen there, nesting in tall, dry grasses. And in my head, I heard, what inner directive is still intact despite the chaos that breeds all around? I want to show up that faithfully. Because if this mama duck can fiercely protect her babies in the inhospitable environment of a playground full of screaming, running children, then what might I do? Answering that question in the inhospitable environment in which we are living is going to take a great deal of imagination. I have been lucky in a lot of ways in this life. One of the ways is that I learned about imagination and its power from a wonderful man who would come home every day, take off his sport coat, button on a cardigan, change from dress shoes to comfortable sneakers, maybe sing me a little song while he was doing it, usually about how he liked me exactly as I am, maybe read me a story, and then quietly invite me into a world of pure imagination and the land of make-believe. Of course, you know I'm talking about Fred Rogers, the one and only Mr. Rogers. He believed using your imagination was an exercise for the mind and was one of the best things we could do to help us learn all sorts of things. In an episode called Imaginary Things, he imagines someone sitting on an empty chair and he reads them a book about what you can see in the clouds. He shows another book. The pages are blank. You are to imagine what the pages could hold. He says this is magic. If you can imagine something, you can make it real. Then we travel to the land of make-believe where Prince Tuesday is playing with his rag doll, Tommy. He would like Tommy to become real. And in the land of make-believe, if two people believe something can happen, then it will. So Prince Tuesday and Handyman Negri imagine Tommy is real, and before your eyes, magic happens, and there he is, dancing across the screen. Mr. Rogers taught us that imagination is important because it leads to a more creative life, and it allows us to create the world we want to see. His friend Aaron Bisno, a rabbi at a temple in Pittsburgh near where the show was filmed, said that Mr. Rogers wondered if heaven could be found in the relationships we make here. Rather than waiting for a world that we might one day inherit or merit, he said, we have an opportunity in a few number of years while we are with each other to make of this world the world of which we speak and dream. He said, imagine what our real neighborhoods would be like if each of us offered as a matter of course just one kind word to another person. The Unitarian minister A. Powell Davies would agree. Davies was minister of All Souls Unitarian in Washington, D.C. in the 1940s, and he once wrote, I become more and more certain as the years go by that wherever friendship is destroyed or homes are broken or precious ties are severed, there's a failure of imagination. Someone is too intent on justifying himself or herself, never venturing out to imagine the way things seem to the other person. Imagination is shut off and sympathy dies. If we know what it is that makes other people speak or act as they do, if we knew it vividly by carefully imagining all that may lie behind it, we might not quarrel, we might understand. Often we could heal the wounds. But even, he says, where that is not possible, even where fuller understanding only leaves us rather sad and helpless, it would still give us the power to be kind, to act, yes, but still to be kind, to go on being kind, and in a harsh world, God knows, even that is something. In an inhospitable world, to just go on being kind is definitely something. In 1969, as swimming pool integration had become a major issue across the United States, including extreme violence around the simple concept of black and white people sharing the same swimming pool, Mr. Rogers decided to imagine a different way. He addressed the issue head on, not with angry words, not with harsh rhetoric, not from a place of defense or fear or criticism, but what he did was imagine what could be in a way that asked you to open your heart, to wonder at what could be possible, to go on being kind. All he did was simply wash his and Officer Clemens' feet together in a kiddie pool. He stared into the camera and said, "Look, friends sharing a pool on a hot day. How lovely that everyone can cool off." The author and theologian Thomas More once said, "We tend to consider imagination too lightly, forgetting that the life we make for ourselves individually and for the world as a whole is shaped and limited only by the parameters of our imagination. Things are as we imagine them to be." Imagination can be a powerful force for resistance. Mr. Rogers saw the hatred of his day and he imagined something different. And in a gentle and powerful way, he showed the nation a new way. I love that he and Officer Clemens didn't jump into an Olympic-sized swimming pool. They sat together at a kiddie pool and cooled their feet on a hot day. A kiddie pool is a manageable step to take. And so I wonder, what might your kiddie pool be? What inner directive is still intact inside you, despite the chaos that breeds all around? Imagination can carry us beyond this place, beyond where we are today, can help us to see possibility when we may be prone to despair. I'm holding on to a Mr. Rogers imagination that tells me people can love you just the way you are. You are wonderful and liked and loved for you. Nothing else, just because you are you. Everyone is our neighbor. And imagination is a powerful force for change. Imagination is how we adapt to a world that no longer allows us to thrive. It is finding ways to change reality, to look at the world around and ask, why? That's the crux of imagination. Why? When we ask why, we can wonder. We can see possibilities in everything. And when we wonder, we can envision a better world for all our neighbors. The Unitarian Universalist historian and scholar Dan McCannon wrote in his book, Prophetic Encounters, on religion and the American radical tradition. When human beings encounter one another deeply as neighbor, in the midst of their struggles for freedom and equality and community, prophetic power is unleashed. This is power to denounce, to condemn those who would grind the faces of the poor into the dust, in the words of Isaiah. It is also the power to announce, to proclaim God's kingdom that will be realized here on earth, what we call the beloved community. Some, he says, call this the path of the prophets. Others would call it the American radical tradition, or simply the left. It is the tradition of abolitionists who called on their neighbors to immediately renounce the sin of slavery, of feminists who recognized patriarchy as itself a form of slavery, of socialists who labored to build a cooperative commonwealth, and of pacifists who saw war as the ultimate affront to humanity. There is such a strong tradition in our Unitarian Universalist faith of working for a better world, a world of more justice and equity where all are able to thrive. And in order to do that, one of the sacred tools we must draw on is the tool of imagination. The tool not just denouncing the world as it is, but of announcing, here's what I imagine it could be. The late UU minister Patricia Jimenez once said, true liberation requires denunciation of oppression, and then a further step, annunciation telling what the future will be, regardless of whether the prediction comes true within our history or not. Telling what the future will be is an opportunity for us to dream. It is an opportunity to tap into the creative magic that happens when each person is encouraged and expected to be a creative agent. When the response creates a new community of love and justice, we become co-creators with the divine. What inner directive is still intact in you, despite the chaos that breeds all around? I want to show up that faithfully. If this tiny bird can fly through cold fronts, headwinds, hard and heavy rain, if it can wing across vast open waters, if it can arrive and make a new nest, even in a very inhospitable place, then what might you do? What is your kiddie pool? So this week, I have wanted to do a lot of denouncing. Denouncing any form of autism registry. Denouncing the continued horrors against beautiful and holy trans lives. Denouncing the use of the American economy as a weapon against its own people. Denouncing raids on homes, on citizens, on people trying to create a better life for themselves and their children. I want to denounce all of it. And I'm sure you do too. And I also believe that faith, our faith, calls us to the work of living with a foot in two worlds. The world as it is, and the world that our hearts know is possible. We're called to hold both at once. Denounce it with me. Denounce the cruelty and injustice of the world we live in, and announce the world that is not yet. The theologian Walter Brueggemann said that imagination is a danger. Thus, every totalitarian regime is frightened of the artist. It is the vocation of the prophet to keep alive the ministry of imagination, to keep on conjuring and proposing alternative futures to the single one the king wants to urge as the only thinkable one. We too often cede imagination to the lives of children. But to keep on conjuring up and proposing alternative futures for our own lives and for the world is not a childish act. It is a prophetic one. It says this world we've been handed, this broken, hurting world, it doesn't have to be like this. I can imagine better for us, and together we can build it. This is the work of religion and of faith. This is why we come together in church, because religious communities hold out faith that another world is possible, that another way of living is possible, and we seek to make manifest through our communities that world, the beloved community, to practice here, creating the worlds of our imagining. Mr. Rogers once said, "When I say it's you I like, I'm talking about that part of you that knows that life is far more than anything you could ever see or hear or touch. that deep part of you that allows you to stand for those things without which humankind cannot survive. Love that conquers hate, peace that rises triumphant over war, and justice that proves more powerful than greed. What then might we do? So I'm going to leave you today with the words of one of my colleagues, Alice Klingenberg. And Alex this week sent out something and said, "Hey everybody, here's something for the moment." Now, Alex says, is not the time to be boring. Now is the time to imagine, to create, get inventive, get bold, get weird and outlandish, get uncomfortably vulnerable. Construct a new status quo. Figure out your deepest, wildest, most expansive dreams for the world and write them down. Build them up. Begin, conceive, create, birth, open. If ever there was a time for you to become who you always dreamed you could be, it is now. When the rules are soft, the edges are blurred, and the world is blinking into an uncertain future. Be the future that comes into sharp focus. Tell the truth, the absolute truth. Spare none of the details. The only way through this is mutually assured creation. May we be the ones to go forth, to show up that faithfully, who listen to the wisdom within that says, this is the way to go, now go. And trust that you have the strength to do so, though the way is long, though the world is vast. What then might we do?
When I was a child, I was excited to see fireflies and butterflies. And I saw a video of cells dividing, and I thought that was magical. When I heard from so simple a beginning, my mind flashed back to that cell dividing. And I'm really happy to be part of a faith community that celebrates science in our magical world. From so simple a beginning.
So simple,
I invite you into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to this offering, which sustains and strengthens our community here, and also our outreach offering recipient, who this week is the Rainbow Project, a child and family counseling and resource clinic. The Rainbow Project exists to provide healing and hope to young children and their families who have experienced trauma. They do this through short and long-term counseling, preventative care, and intervention. They seek to serve everyone who needs them. No one is turned away for lack of funds. There are multiple ways to share your gifts this morning. Baskets will now be passed here in the auditorium for cash or checks, or you can donate directly from our website, fusmadison.org, and you will see on the screen our new text to give information. We thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we create together.
Each week we gather, bringing with us the joys and the losses of our days. We share them here knowing they are held in love and in support. We light a candle of celebration for Mordecai Weissman, son of Sarah Weissman and Kelly Weissman Asbruth Jackson. Morty was called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah yesterday at Temple Beth Am in Seattle, Washington, and we offer Morty our congratulations on completing this coming of age ritual. We share in the joy of his parents at this important day in the life of their family. Congratulations, Morty and Kelly and Sarah and Miriam and the whole family. the age of 74. We send our love and our care to Barb's family. And we light a candle for all that lives in our hearts, the joys, the losses, the sorrows, the celebration of these days, and for the love that remains with us through it all. If you join us now in a moment of prayer and meditation with words from Chris Cervantes. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. Be at ease. Think of the stars and the grass. Imagine the stars looking back at you over years and centuries across oceans of empty space. Imagine the feel of the grass on your bare feet and feel it dry and crunchy, soft and supple. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. Dream for a little while of young people and young animals, innocent in the way of the young, careless and uncaring, accepting everything in their newness. Dream for a little while of the elders and the wisdom they have to give, the voices that say to you, it is right and proper to rest. Rest in this moment. Be still and let go of the long unspooling of history, of sorrow and joy and birth and death and all the years in between. Rest now in the peace of this moment. Amen.
Now I invite us all to rise in body and or in spirit so we can sing our closing hymn, number 1040 in the teal hymnal or on the screen. Hush, we'll sing verses 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Somebody's
Somebody's calling your name. Can you hear it? Calling you to a past not quite forgotten, calling us to a future not fully imagined. Hush, hush, somebody's calling our name. Oh my Lord, what shall we do? Blessed be, go in peace, and please be seated for the postlude.
This song takes me immediately back to the Lake District in England. The poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, a Lakeland romantic poet, describes a common weather phenomenon, a summer storm that falls on the Pennine Hills, runs down rocky streambeds that have been washed over the centuries down the hillsides. This music sings itself and also paints an auditory picture with the flow of the poem. It's also written by Edward Elgar, who I studied extensively and who is one of my favorite English composers.